This episode of KSTV is brought to you by Gem Creative, custom designs, printing, web designs, SEO, and more.
Hello, we're back. I'm Kevin.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Piotr, Peter Strzelecki, a United Church minister at St. Paul's United Church here in Kindersley.
Well, so now we've added another person to the trifecta of humor and
we are
jokes.
no longer the duo, the mighty duo. Now we are the triple
threat.
Right. Sure.
Triple. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that. I think that's great.
I had an interesting topic tonight for both of you, and I know with the Christmas season coming up, and Peter, I know you write for the Kindersley Social, and you have a great time, I think, doing that. And I thought about Christmas, and I thought, wow, my grandma used to make some great shortbread. I don't know, do you have any favorite dishes or desserts for Christmas?
Well, I'm not much of a sweets person.
Oh,
but
we're not going to get along.
No,
that's it.
Should I leave an hour later?
No,
Fried sauerkraut
that's
with
good.
dried mushrooms.
Oh,
You can
okay.
eat it as is, or like my mother used to put it in the pierogies. And then you eat them boiled
That would be
or
good.
pan-fried,
Yeah.
or yet next day cold.
Interesting.
My father used to make it. He taught me actually when my parents came for our wedding.
Okay.
When we brought them to Canada, my father taught me how to make fried sauerkraut
Nice.
with dried mushrooms.
Cool. How about you, Mr. Baker?
Well, I'm sorry. The sauerkraut just sounds so good, but my answer to any and all here in town is bring me the Nanaimo bars, and I'm more than happy.
What is the connection
but
between Nanaimo bar and Christmas?
there is no connection. I just like the Nanaimo bars. Sorry.
Good enough.
Yeah,
Good enough.
that's as far as I go on that one.
I'm not going to ask you to spell Nanaimo, but that's okay.
The Nanaimo.
Nanaimo. Hey, if it works, it works.
So what's yours?
Shortbread.
Sure.
My one grandma made such amazing shortbread, it would just melt in your mouth.
Did you put little sprinkles on top?
She did occasionally, but she just plain.
Yeah.
She used the rice flour,
Oh,
that was just that was the difference. I found it's
What do you eat it with?
milk or coffee.
Ever tried topping it with orange or lemon lime marmalade?
Oh, wouldn't that be good?
Okay.
I mean, when you think
That's
of
why
it,
I have you here, Piotr.
shortbread comes from Scotland.
It does.
Next to England, the best British orange marmalade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah, now you're making me hungry. I just had supper. That's not fair.
And then you make sure you wash it down with Earl Grey tea with a slice of lemon floating in it.
That'll work. I'm good with
Okay.
that.
I love Earl Grey. The lemon slice. I'm not quite there yet.
Not yet?
Ginger with lemon. Oh, it's
Interesting.
tea.
Interesting.
It's great. Yeah.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
we could be here a long time talking about our different likes and this. There's nothing there isn't much I don't dislike.
Bananas are my
Really?
thing, and I think that was because when I was a kid, you get sick and mom has to feed you something.
of course.
And my understanding is,
Yeah.
no,
You don't feel like
bananas,
King
no.
Kong too
No,
often.
can't-
Okay, well,
can't
that's
go
fair
there.
enough.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, when you're sick, isn't
Yeah.
chicken noodle soup almost every culture's standard go-to?
It seems to be that
I
way.
like it.
And when
Yeah.
you're on the farm, I could see the chickens running the other way if they know you're sick. Because they might be
I'm out of
next.
here.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, pea soup was more my go-to when I was sick. I loved green pea soup.
With pepper.
Yeah, with-
It's got to have pepper.
Yeah, a little pepper's
Yeah.
good, but the good bits of ham,
Yes.
and
absolutely.
the bone, of course, the bone's been.
And my mother would puree the pea soup
Oh.
and then
Yes.
serve it with fresh, still hot, homemade croutons, fresh off the pan.
Oh, okay. That's it.
And then, of course,
Okay.
in Poland,
That's it.
mandatory, you season everything with a touch of Maggi.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
if you're not sure
but-
what it is, use a couple of shakes of soya sauce.
I would never have thought of that. Okay.
Maggi, it is
I'm
basically
learning something new.
seasoner.
So how long have you been in
Strange.
Canada then?
This October 6th was 29 years.
Wow.
So,
29.
next year, October 6th, there will be barbecue in the backyard of the Mans. Come
I'm
hell,
on.
high water, or snowstorm.
And we're going to have all of the things we talked about tonight are going to be on the menu.
Definitely.
And something else as well, yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's great. I hope everybody is mouth-watering and ready to go for this next year. It's only 12 months.
Yeah, it's
11
around
months,
the corner.
actually.
As a matter
11
of fact.
months.
Oh, yes. Just put it on your calendar
No
already.
question.
Yeah, just if you're not sure, call us again. We'll let
And
you
if
know.
you can't remember the date, it was
October 6th.
October 6th,
That's it.
2023.
Thank you.
You're all
and,
invited.
and thanks to Peter for coming out today, and maybe he'll fill in for us in the future.
Yeah.
Who knows?
This would be great.
Have a great
been a
afternoon,
pleasure.
evening, or morning. Thank you again, Peter.
Thank you.
Local news sponsored by Mid-Plains Diesel. And in the news, be ice smart this winter. With the arrival of winter, the public is reminded to ensure the ice is thick enough to safely walk, drive, or snowmobile on before venturing out onto it. Ice thickness can be unpredictable at times. It does not freeze at a uniform thickness, and strengths can vary considerably from one area to another. To be sure, check the ice thickness before you travel on it. As a general guideline, you need at least 10 centimeters or 4 inches of ice to walk on, 20 centimeters or 8 inches to drive a snowmobile or ATV on, and 30 centimeters or 12 inches to drive a car or light truck on, and more than 40 centimeters or 18 inches to drive a heavy truck. Guidelines are provided to help individuals decide whether to venture out onto the ice. Thickness is just one consideration when evaluating ice safety. Clear hard ice is the only ice recommended for travel. Ice should be re-evaluated on every date visited, even if it was safe on a previous date. Fraud awareness. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre is receiving reports of fraudsters pretending to be the CAFC in tech support scams. Please remember to never give anyone access to your devices, especially if you receive an unsolicited phone call, email, or a pop-up. There is a wide variety of scams that continue to circulate, such as financial services, insurance, tech, and immigration scams. Some of the more common scams are air duct cleaning, impersonating a cell phone service provider, help with government documents, and low interest rate offers. When in doubt about the identity of who's contacting you, research the contact information and reach out to the organization directly. And a cold weather reminder. A reminder to residents that as outdoor temperatures drop, cats will hide underneath car hoods for warmth. Use caution when you start your car in the cold winter months ahead. If cats are left outside, they may climb under the car hood for protection from the cold. So before you climb into your car, slap the hood or open it for a quick look around. Music person wanted for WCA. Are you a musical person who wishes to share your gift with others? If so, West Central Abilities is seeking groups or individuals to lead them in some music fun at their day program. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, please contact West Central Abilities at 306-463-2727 or email them at westcentralabilities.ca. Switch to e-billing. Go paperless. Get your Town of Kindersley utility bills, tax notices, assessment notices, and tax receipts emailed to you. If you wish to switch, please call 306-463-2675 or email jenna.l@kindersley.ca.
Welcome. This is the. Who are we?
I am Kevin,
I'm still Ron.
and we are the dynamic duo of
Exactly,
the
the Kevin
airwaves.
and Ron thing.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Ron and Kevin, depending which way you're reading it on your screen.
Exactly. And I have a question for today to start
Okay.
us off.
Sure.
You know, you know how sometimes you have friends that are like really close like this.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you have ones that are sort of like this.
I have some that are like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that.
Well,
yeah.
You know, me and Elon.
Elon Musk?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't really kind of figured out what kind of friendship we have.
I see.
I haven't even talked to him. In fact, I haven't even emailed him yet. But if I was Elon,
Mhm.
I think I would be very careful about social media.
He seems to be buying everything, doesn't he?
That is a double meaning. You know, a lot of dollars he's
Yes.
spending his billions, but is he buying what he's buying into? Like, does he really?
That is a loaded question.
I know.
I don't know if he understands the implications or ramifications of his buying.
Okay, so I've got some thoughts on maybe what he's thinking.
Okay.
So, yeah, some people say that, you know, when social media first started, it was all about fame. Like we all went out there.
What are 15 minutes?
Yeah, we
Yes.
went. Okay, or 30. Like
Right.
we do our podcast, 5 minutes.
Right.
So
Okay.
only 5 minutes, and we all want our fame.
Right.
But that's kind of imploded, and people say, I've heard that. I don't need to hear that anymore.
Right.
Are we moving to a sense of the internet and social media becoming function? So that if you get on Twitter, Twitter's going to provide you a way to pay, they're going to provide you a way to do documents, they're going to, plus, at the same time, you still tweet these little
Of course.
Yes. Twitter these things
Right.
out.
So these twerks are tweeting? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Or
it's a lot of twerks are, that's what we're coming to.
Right.
But we're going to functionalize it.
Right. Okay. So the average person like me could actually use it?
I think that would be Elon's, and then everything's going to become subscription based.
Oh, right.
So that not only do you get the advertising, come join us, but you pay to use this, so you pay to use that, because you're paying for a function now. You're not paying for fame.
Right. And the fame could follow, though.
Oh, I'm expecting it will, yeah.
So we're expecting you to not be here in about a year. Then if you're going to
I figure by then my million. Well, you heard somebody just won the $2 billion lottery thing. That was a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to lotteries, but if I was going to subscribe, I'm not sure I'd subscribe to a lot of social media stuff either. So
I don't actually. I
Okay.
just don't. I have a job to do. I got work to do. I can't be on there all the time. And I'm on very little actually.
So when you go on Facebook or Twitter, do you sense that I'm headed down a rabbit hole thing?
It seems like you're right. Everybody wants to sell something.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot. And everybody wants to put on a picture of their breakfast or their lunch or supper, and that's okay too. Or their cat doing tricks. I mean, I get that. That's okay.
I've just learned that being sour cream, like
Right.
their food,
Right.
if it's green, throw it out.
Right.
So if you have a picture of green sour cream,
Don't send it in.
yeah, please,
No,
stay away. That's enough social stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, way too much.
Social media. Wow, that's still a loaded subject. It really is.
So what loads you most about social media?
What worries me about it?
Oh, yeah, sure. Whichever.
Well, people giving their unsolicited opinions, and other people believing it as gospel. So that's
okay.
The person tweeting out or on Facebook giving their opinion is probably sitting in their bathroom doing their business, and you're arguing with them because you don't know what they're doing. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of
And you're saying they don't know what they're doing?
probably not
Probably not.
a lot of uninformed opinions, and people may be believing those uninformed opinions.
So how do you get around that?
That is a good question too, because there's a lot of misinformation out there,
Yeah.
and you have to really do your research to find out if it's what they're saying is right or wrong.
Okay. So one of the areas that's come up, I mean, as a librarian, is information literacy or data literacy, and now we're into science literacy, and I'm hearing this literacy thing, which seems to me to be all it is just saying, let's find out who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
Right.
That's tough.
But you're wrong.
Well,
No,
it could be.
are you right?
Sometimes. If
Yeah.
my wife tells me I am, then I am.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm wrong.
And that's where your information literacy
That's where
comes
it's come from. Yeah.
The truth is there.
If she
Just like
tells me
that.
if I'm right or wrong, end of
Yeah.
story.
Okay. And is that the end of this show?
I think that's the end of this
I think
story.
that's the end of this story.
Tune in again next week.
Events sponsored by Royal Flush, the company for septic services.
And in local events, the Museum of Lights. Residents can look forward to the annual Christmas Museum of Lights event located at the Kindersley Museum. Dates are December 10th, 11th, 16th, and 17th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Entry is by donation. And a masked singer in Kindersley. Come out and support Kindersley's Hospital by registering for the Masked Singer event. Hosted at the Norman Ritchie Center, participants can enter as a single, duo, or group. The singer's identity is to be kept a secret, and pre-recording will happen before the event. Winners will receive 60% of the total funds raised for their charity, and all other teams will receive 50% off their total. All donations of $20 and over will receive a taxable receipt. Deadline to register is December the 15th. The event date is April the 1st, 2023. To enter, contact Keith at 306-460-8633.
Hi, everybody. We are back. He's Ron.
Yeah, I'm still Ron, and I think he's still Kevin. But that hesitation there was kind of interesting.
Thank you.
Which makes me wonder. Maybe we should be doing more research just so we understand who we are and what goes on and all that sort of stuff. I just wanted to say I'm having great fun this year doing research. I teach at a college just south of town, and there I'm getting together a group who and have got together a group that are going to research. Now, take a guess at the topic. I thought so.
You stumped me already.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, you got me.
So the topic is going to be on small churches, because that's part of a lot of what I do,
right,
and my background. But the question is, what is church going to look like in the future? And they're going to do some research, start working through that.
Okay.
So if I were to ask you that question, what will church look like in the future? And we'll use this as part of our research. We can use cite this in the paper and do the whole thing. Okay,
right.
Yes.
What will it look like in the future?
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to give you an answer. I'm not sure how you're going to like it.
I probably won't like it, but that's all right.
I don't think it's going to change that much from how it is now. You can visit. I'm going to say visit in person, or you can go online, because I know during COVID, a lot of churches I think most churches were not allowed to have a congregation.
Well, no, that was a whole. Yeah.
So I believe you're going to have a kind of a combination of both.
Okay, so if you have a combination of both. Is it going to be the same sort of thing that we've always done?
I'm going to say yes, but again, things can happen that I have no control over.
Yeah. Well, one of the latest research points, and the group that I'm working with are going to have to deal with this, is there's a group in the States called Pew Research. Really a weird name for a research group. But Pew Research, and they have traced over the last 20-30 years a very sharp decline in attendance in church. And yet at the same time, other research is showing, but people still think there's a God, we still think that there needs to be religion, and so the question is arising, what is church?
That is an excellent question.
Thank you.
But I think that means something different to everybody.
Okay.
For example,
I'm going to take this back to the group.
Please,
we'll have a good chat over that.
I notice you're not writing it down, but that's okay.
Well, that's because
we'll see the copy video later.
Yeah, and we'll give the access. We'll have a citation in our paper to this particular.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where were we anyway?
What is church and who's doing it and what?
Right.
What's going on and how's it going to happen?
I think everybody's interpretation of church is different, but I also think that people are just going to still do what they do. Some are going to want to go.
Yeah,
some are going to want to go online.
Yeah.
I can't see a real much of a difference.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah, and I think that's some people's reaction is, and some people's reaction is, well, it's been COVID, so I haven't been attended church. I haven't been participating in anything. There's no service element I've been part of. So what I've been doing for the last 2 years, what I'm going to do.
Right, and for some too, it's more maybe convenient to stay at home and watch online. Mm-hmm. You can watch it from the comfort of your kitchen table in your pajamas while you're having your Cheerios.
Yeah.
No way we've been brought up to be in church.
Well, yeah, and for those that's been part of their culture, it has often been a culture of you have to show up, you have to be part of.
Right.
And I think that may be changing just slightly, which is going to be part of the research. And the plan is with this group is we'll spend the next 4, 5, 6 months digging into this sort of thing, using internet searches, reading books, talking to people, and then we'll present it at a research conference in Calgary at the end of March. And I think that's going to be it.
I'm interested to know the results of that.
I'm very interested too, because as I say, this is research. I've done some chatting with people, but we're going to try and gather it together and put it in place. We might even put a book out or an article out at the end, just for people. So yeah,
you have to make sure it goes in the Kindersley Social.
That would be a great idea. Kindersley Social needs to have this article.
The information has to get out there, folks.
Yeah, it does. I just think people need to know. And what are we? How have we changed? Okay, there's way more that we can do in this. But that's what the research can be out, and these undergrad students are just chomping at the bit to get at that kind of research.
Cool. Points to ponder.
Yeah.
Tune in. We'll be back and we'll have the results.
Yes, we will.
Sports, sponsored by the Tint Doctor. We've got you covered.
Goals for Kids Sport partners with Sask Energy. Goals for Kids Sport is a partnership between Sask Energy, Kids Sport Saskatchewan, and the SJHL, aimed at helping youth participants in sport by reducing the financial pressure often associated with accessing sporting activities. Sask Energy will donate $20 to Kids Sport for every home goal scored by an SJHL team during the league's 22-23 regular season, up to 1,000 goals or $20,000. During each Goals for Kids Sport season, Kids Sport volunteers host 11 SJHL game nights, where all funds raised stay right in the community. The game nights not only feature some great hockey action, but also get the crowd involved with exciting intermission activities that raise additional funds for the local Kids Sport chapter. Be sure to attend Kindersley's Kids Sport Game Night on January 13th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the West Central Events Center.
And the cameraman says it's time to go, so we're going. Hi, Ron.
Oh, sorry. I'm Ron.
You are?
You want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
Hey.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
just a sec. I thought I better come back.
I appreciate that. I don't want to talk to myself because it looks like I don't know who I am.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that anyway. I'm Kevin, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still Ron.
Yeah, and we're here today, again, for your viewing pleasure. We're talking this segment about owning a home.
Yeah.
Is that out of reach for most people who are renting at this point?
Well, I can use personal examples in my family
Okay.
of kids that they want to own a home, right? In fact, some of them are in construction. They know how to build a house.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
The problem is coming up with hundreds of thousands of dollars in financing. I don't think they will ever be able to own a home.
It is tough, granted, and some areas of the country to live in are tougher than others.
Yeah.
The bigger cities, yeah, you can find some deals.
Yeah.
You can if you want to be in the big city.
And this is one thing that, the chamber and other people in Kindersley can just say, well, just all those people in BC that sell their house for $1 million and can buy the same one here for 200, 300,000.
Yep.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You should move.
Come
now.
on, exactly.
Now's the
Come
time.
on down. We'll be like, what's his name there? Bob Barker.
Oh, yeah.
Come on down. We're ready for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, though. I think home ownership, it's a lot of banks are not really giving him any deals. They're not giving him any incentives. And it's hard for your average person who may be only going paycheck to paycheck, or in my case, direct deposit to direct deposit. However,
Yes.
you have to have a certain amount of money built up for a down payment, and you have the reality of maybe not just house payments, but maybe repairs.
But the other side to it too is a market,
Yes.
which currently housing prices are not booming.
No.
Well, they're perhaps even going down. And can you sell it? Will someone be able to buy it?
Right.
Which is part of that market thing. If my kids can't afford to buy it, where are you going to sell it to?
That's right. And those people who paid, unfortunately, maybe paid more money than they should have for a house, and maybe it's 5 or 10 years later, and their house is only maybe worth half of what they paid for it. They're not going to want to just give it up for half. They want their full value.
So the question, there's another question, and some of you watching will have already thought of this, is if you've got a bunch of landlords, the pricing of the house is going down. The landlords know that, and the landlords also know that they want to pay off, so they want to raise the rent.
Some do, yes.
When the cycle gets going like that for the landlords, how do renters? What do renters do? They're going to be asked pay more, and
it's funny. In my situation, I have paid the same rent for 10 years.
Oh wow!
But it's going up next year.
Okay.
For the first time.
Yeah.
And it's still not, for me, it's not exorbitant.
Right.
I know I could be paying more somewhere else. So I myself am very fortunate. Although home ownership would still be nice.
Yeah.
In this country.
Well,
it'd be nice.
That's true. And for us, for my generation, we bought homes as an investment.
Yes.
I'm not sure my kids necessarily see it as an investment as much anymore. You're going to have to keep the repairs up, keep all that up, and yeah, I'm a little worried.
There's a lot more to owning a house than just paying the mortgage.
Oh yeah.
You say there's your taxes, there's your repairs, there's all your utilities, and somehow rents includes some of the utilities. So it's a real nice cycle to be into where you're not paying a lot or extra. But when you buy a house, boy, you've got to think about what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah. You have to, your asset management goes further than the month's rent, the end of the month's rent.
Absolutely.
So,
what do we do?
I think that's a very good question.
I think we should just say goodbye.
I think we could retire.
Oh, there's an idea.
See? Yeah. And then you can't afford a house anyway. So
in that case,
let us retire.
Let us say sayonara for this week.
Sayonara.
All right. Hi, I'm Kevin with the Kindersley Social, and our guest today is Mr. Randy Woolrich from Clare, Saskatchewan. Good evening, Randy.
Good evening.
How has your day been today?
Not too bad. Warmed up, so it's nice out today.
Yeah, did you get any freezing rain the other day?
No, we missed the freezing rain, so we just got the snow or whatever, so it's not so bad.
Okay, well, you're quite lucky. Quite lucky.
Yeah.
I saw an interview that you did, or a little story, I guess you did, and about your town of Clare, and it was quite interesting. I thought, well, let's talk to this guy. He seems to have a cool project there. Could you explain it a bit for us?
Well, they don't give you a whole lot of time with some of them clips, so there was a lot more to it than what they give you there for time. But
right,
you know, these small towns now in the farming communities, you find it in Kindersley like we find it here. These small towns are they're wasting away.
Yes.
And we don't have the population.
Right.
You know, every small town was 500 people. Now they're down to 300, and the 300 are there aren't really, you know, not much to support when there's only 300 people to support a small place. Kindersley's a bit bigger, but still, I think people should be coming out to these small towns and enjoying the small towns more than they are. They got to get out of that city.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Because the small towns, even though they may not realize it, they do actually have a lot to offer.
Well, and I think, you know, some of these small towns, if you're Christmas shopping right now, I think if you had places you could go to like Kindersley and do your Christmas shopping, I think you'd find that more enjoyable than, you know, having to run around trying to find different stores and price check this and price check that, and then you find that it's out in one place, and it's kind of a nightmare trying to Christmas shop in the cities, I think.
It can be.
Small towns. Well, a lot of these small towns have places that offer that kind of thing.
Yep.
But people just aren't seeing that to go there.
Right. And what was the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, that drove you to do what you're doing?
I've been working on this for quite a bit. I mean, I got, you know, trying to expand. I work pipeline in Alberta.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get away from the pipeline world because it's not much of a life. I mean, it's good money and it's good work, but it's not much of a life.
Right.
So I've been trying to expand my operation by fishing, advertising some more, doing hunting shows. Like Wild TV, I signed a contract with Wild TV.
Cool.
So we did 1 show last year and then 3 this year.
Wow.
So that's kind of helping some of that.
Yep.
But it's mostly, you know, Canadians that see the Wild TV, and Canadians, they're not hunting and fishing like they used to.
Are you getting many Americans coming up for hunting and fishing?
Yeah, as many as I can handle, pretty much.
Okay, well that's good.
And not the fishing so much, but the hunting part, the waterfowl. That's the big thing. We come here for the waterfowl.
They're not coming for moose or deer?
No, not to me, because I'm a waterfowl guy.
I see.
The big game guys further north, we can't outfit for big game here. We've been lobbying against that to try and let us have a few tags for the southern areas, but they haven't yet.
Oh, that's too bad. Wow. Seems like support for what you're doing has really gone viral now. It's great.
Well, it's kind of what I think people are looking for, something different, actually, and they tend to be on the media a lot now.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago, we never used to watch TV much. You're outside doing stuff. Now everybody's in the house. So I think the last click was over 300,000 people watched the CTV thing.
Wow, and that's where I saw it as well too, actually. And I thought, oh, okay, this is really cool.
Well,
I think it's a great thing what you're doing.
Well, I did John Gormley yesterday.
And how was John's interview? That was good.
It was pretty good, actually. You know, they're short, whatever, but just kind of
Yeah.
put it out there. You got to thank the farmers, because that's kind of what we, deal with a lot of times. You got to make
Yeah.
sure we support the farmers and the rural towns.
Absolutely.
So that was my big thing. So.
And I know, and our Chamber of Commerce here in Kindersley is really pushing to for that as well, to be shopping local and supporting your local businesses, because, like you said, when a business closes in a small town, most times they don't reopen, and that's and that's just the death of a town.
Yes, and I mean, then people realize that when they want to run to the hardware store for light bulbs, they can't get them, and 7-Eleven and stuff don't carry them, so you'd have to go to the city and buy a whole bunch at Costco's, so you don't have that problem. But
that's right.
That's the big chains. And
Well,
the big chains, they're good, but they're good to go there once every 4 or 5 months and do some shopping, not on a regular basis.
No, we can rely on them too easily. That's for sure. And our local businesses, I think it's great that they're still in business, because without them, they say these towns would be gone. At least most of our towns.
We have a hard time finding things. Well, in majority of them, yes. And I think a lot of times the restaurants, Wadeena's got no motels left. They used to have 3, they got none.
Oh, okay.
So people got nowhere to stay even when they go through here.
Yeah.
So, Kindersley's a little better equipped for that. But Kindersley should be doing a lot better than it is, because it's kind of a nice place. It's right in the hub of the middle. Yep. I don't know why it's not doing better than it is.
And I'm not sure if that's partly because of the transient oil workers or not. I mean, we're a great oil town. We're a great agricultural town. But it just seems people want to come in, they do their job, and they go home, and then there's another set that comes back, and the cycle starts all over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for, kind of sustaining some of the stuff, but it's not quite enough for the everyday people to have their tills ringing every day, and not just for the, when the flood is on for the pipeline or rig.
Right. I mean, because like any town, I mean, when money's flush and times are good, everybody's doing well, everybody's happy. But as soon as, like, when the oil crashed here, wow, it was like a ghost town almost overnight.
I noticed that because I was in there a lot, and I noticed all of a sudden you go back, there was no problem getting a room. You could get a room anywhere.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny?
You couldn't get a room.
We have 765 hotel rooms here, just for your knowledge.
Holy! Well, sometimes they're right full. That's a good income for the town, really.
Yeah, and when everything was going good, that's when the hotels expanded. So, which was great. But then, as soon as they finished expanding, then the oil price fell. So that kind of, and then COVID hit, so that didn't help either. So they've had a tough run, and the restaurants have too. Actually, some of them closed right down.
Yeah, and that before they were more opening all the time.
Yes.
And now we got more people in the country, and things are closing down. That's where you're showing that the people aren't going to the rural communities. Anybody that's coming in is going to the cities. They're not starting up in the small towns. And if they are, it's just maybe a restaurant family and buying a restaurant or something, but that's about it.
And I know here in Kindersley, I know our Chamber of Commerce is trying to attract, other businesses to town. But boy, that's a bit of a tough slog, because you're competing with every other small town for a business to come and set up shop. So, we have to do our homework as well and try to attract like everybody else. And it's tough. It's really tough.
I can see that, yeah. And I mean, now it's like there's in the States. I drove truck long haul a lot in the States.
Okay.
And you see a lot of big manufacturing companies stationed outside of small towns.
Okay.
Because land is cheaper, and they bring in a lot of people that'll move there then to get the job at the manufacturing plant.
Right.
And we kind of missed the boat on a lot of that years and years ago. A lot of these small towns, they turned that down. They didn't like competition, and now I think that's biting them in the hands. But,
unfortunately,
like out here.
Yeah. Well, you're 2 hours out of Saskatoon?
Yeah, 2 hours straight east. Yep.
Yeah, and we're pretty much 2 hours straight west. So, and we're being on that main highway to Calgary. I mean, we're in a perfect position for expansion in my mind.
Well, that would be like for a manufacturing place to manufacture whatever 3M or whatever it would be.
Yep.
That could that's the industry that trucking goes right through there.
Yep.
And why that would not have some of the bigger factories there rather than, Rosetown, I guess, is right there, kind of like the same as Kindersley. And they're both good places. I stayed a lot in Rosetown. That's where we stationed ourselves.
Okay.
And I didn't mind Rosetown. But
No, it's a great little town. Just I'd like to think we have more, that's all.
Well, in Kindersley, it's too bad the oil field there is an old oil field. That's why Robert died off. I mean, they did so much work there years ago that it kind of turned into an older oil field.
Yeah.
Where down south now, they were doing lots of work down south there in Estevan.
Yep.
And then that dropped off too. I mean, there was 2 years ago, they couldn't get a room. And now they're back to slow down again.
Well, I believe they're on the verge of closing almost, at least the coal plants there, are they not, in Estevan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they're really having their issues too, unfortunately, and their struggles. But fortunately, I guess down near the border and a little bit west, I guess the helium production is going up there, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was down there 2 years ago and there was oil rigs everywhere. It was
Yeah.
like old time where there was an oil rig every 5 miles. It was like, wow.
That's good. It's too bad we can't bring them back overnight. That would be nice.
Well, I mean, they did their work, it seemed like, and then this year they just weren't there drilling. Like they'll drill so many holes, and then that's all they're going to do, and then they just move on.
Yeah, and the same thing
Like
here. They've
Pipeline's
stopped.
going to do this.
Oh, okay, I know
Go ahead,
they've stopped. Sorry, some of the companies have stopped already drilling for the year here already.
Yep.
So
And that's, I mean, their quota is like what, four holes?
maybe,
They used to have, 50 holes or whatever and stuff. That was a good
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
Now they're not doing that, and I don't know why. The pipeline there going through there is kind of going by you.
Right.
You don't
It
have
is.
that infrastructure there to stop it and have a base there, whatever, like a plant.
Right.
They're outside of Kindersley too far.
It would sure be nice, but I mean, on the other hand, we have to be realistic too with the way things are. So we're doing our best to do what we can. And that's all we can do.
One thing that I noticed in the States too was the signage. When you go to some of these
yeah.
small towns, they have the signs 5 miles out of town, 3 miles out of town, 2
Okay,
miles out of town. And then by the time you get to the town,
Right.
them signs almost make you pull in to check it out.
True
Whether it's
enough.
a restaurant. I noticed that a lot in the States. They do that a lot in the interstates because
Oh,
people are doing
okay.
10. So
Yeah.
they got to put the sign so far ahead. And you guys have pretty good signage there. But it doesn't seem like it catches your eye like a gift shop, say,
Right.
or a restaurant having specials or whatever it is. It
Right.
seems like people in the States do that a lot more. That's
It
their
could-
big marketing trick off the highway.
Right, and that could always be improved, of course. But then a lot of times, if that cost is having to be borne by the retailer, sometimes the money just isn't there for that.
And I mean, I guess that's where you have to see how much, try with one place and see if it actually makes a difference in a month
Yep.
to warrant putting the signs up and paying for it. I mean, if all of a sudden you get 30% more business, well, then you don't mind paying for the signs, I guess.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it'll pay
That's
for
one of the
itself.
things.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So what's in the sorry?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what's in the future for you now after all this commotion, so to speak?
Well, I'm trying to expand into I got my pheasant release program. So I got
Okay.
pheasants that I release for release, and then my fishing. I'm
Okay.
trying to get more to these people in the city, like families. Bring your kids out, come fishing. You don't have to go up north and fly into them camps and do all that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Get out of the city. Bring your friends out. I got 2 camo limos, stretch limos
Oh.
that are in camo.
Oh,
One's
nice.
white, one's black.
Okay.
So I drive you 20 minutes to the lake in the camo limo. You get out, you go fishing, come back and stay in a small town.
nice.
And some of these people, when you're going to Mexico and all the places you can go, or with the turmoil going on with all that, or if you had a place where you could go and it had things you could go see outside of Kindersley or near Kindersley,
Yep.
what would be take 3 days with your family and go out there and stay in some, bed and breakfast or whatever they have set up.
Yep,
And
sure.
go and check out the rural Saskatchewan. There are a lot of things out there that people could kill time, but
Absolutely.
society's going a little out of whack with that, appreciating, that small town friendly atmosphere. Like you come to Clare, most of my hunters like coming here because
Yep.
the next year they come back.
Yep.
They know people. You know, they say hi to them, they know their names and all that kind of thing. You go to the city, you don't know anybody's name, you know.
And that means a lot too. That means a lot to everybody, yeah, because you feel like you belong there. And that's
well, I had one. I had one U.S.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off there.
Okay, that's the great thing about a small town is everybody knows everybody.
Yes, and in general, I mean, you're still going to get a couple cranky people, of course, but that's just life in general. But I mean, overall, the small towns, people will stop and shake your hand. If you're on Coffee Road, you walk into a coffee shop by yourself and sit there and listen to people for 10 minutes. Pretty soon you're pulling up a chair having coffee with them. You can't do that in the city. Somebody's going to be contacting the manager or something. You know.
That's right. They're thinking you're stalking them or something. Yeah. Do you think social media has a bit to do with some of the decline of the small towns? I know that's maybe a loaded question, but
I think some of the media. I think society is more of the problem right now because people are so orientated for just staying in the small towns and not going, or in the cities and not going very far, and they'll line up at Costco's at 40 below to buy. Like, what for? I won't go in that damn lineup, not a chance. You know,
I hear you.
So you go to a small town. I mean, we have some of the restaurants here that, we're losing some of our mom and pop, old original bacon and eggs restaurants. So which is bad because a lot of my hunters. I had a retired U.S. congressman here. Okay. We went out to the Hutterite colony for lunch.
Okay.
He said that after all the hunting, and he had good hunts, that was a highlight of his trip.
Wow.
Was going to the Hutterite colony to see the culture and have a meal.
Cool.
So sometimes those kind of things for people in the big cities in the States even, that's their highlight. I mean, they don't get the chance to do that. They don't, a lot of guys have never had a roast chicken in like 20 years. So we make them a roast chicken off the farm with meat, potatoes, and gravy. They don't get that anymore. People are so into the city thing that they don't get that kind of thing anymore. We serve all our stuff as homemade, out of the garden, local producers, beef and bison and chickens and all that. Wow. And they appreciate them. But it's just too short a season for me. That's why I'm trying to expand it a bit more into different things.
Right. So do your hunting, is that just in the fall time or is that all year round? I
got a month in the spring and then 2.5 months in the fall.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I'm trying to get the fishing is supposed to be for 2 months in the summer, which would take me to 5-6 months. And then I'm trying to expand the pheasants into November, which would give me another month.
Right.
And I know the pheasant idea is for a lot of guys in the cities, there's nowhere to hunt really pheasants anymore and train their dogs. So for guys that got upland game bird dogs, there's nowhere for them to really go. Everything is getting really big farmers, hard to find permission, trespassing laws. So we're trying to get it more private where they can come out here, stay in a house, hunt private land, and they're released birds, but you don't even notice they're released birds when you let them out ahead of time because they fly just like a wild one. So
okay, well, that's cool. Wow. And you've been doing that for how long now? Sorry, the outfitting?
The outfitting, 30 years this year.
30 years, yeah. Wow, that's quite a legacy you've got there.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guys come through our account, like Folgers Coffee. They showed that. I mean, there's a lot of people come through it, and that's one of the reasons why I like doing it because the people I meet and the farmers. I wouldn't see a lot of these people if I wasn't doing this. You stop by and get permission, and have coffee, and all that kind of thing.
That's what I was going to say too. That's one thing you don't get in the city. You don't get those sort of personal connections with people in the city because of the attitudes. They're afraid they're going to get mugged or something or whatever. But smaller towns, I find, to have a different feel to them.
Yes, and that's where we tried to capitalize on some of that stuff to get people to come and, stay for a weekend in a small town. They're in the city going to the movies all the time. Just don't go one weekend and come to a small town, and then somebody else comes. We have like here with Clare is real small, so of course it's not going to attract that. But the hunting end of it, we do go through a lot of people, and my money I bring it in from the States. And I spend it in my community. Like I'm bad with spending all my money.
Well, it could be worse.
I try to support everybody. That's my thing. I support everybody.
You do what you can. That's all you can do.
Well, we had on the one show at Prairie Pursuit there, we went out to one of my friends and had filmed a tailgate lunch. Like they had
okay.
the meal,
Yeah.
they bring it out to the field, and you pull the tailgate down. The wife's got everything wrapped in towels,
Yeah.
and we sat down and had a meal.
Right.
The one guy, he likes scalloped potatoes. Well, we had scalloped potatoes, and
Okay.
he said you can't buy scalloped potatoes that taste like that on the end gate of a truck. There's just no way. And cream peas, and
Yeah.
all that.
Fair
You can't
enough.
duplicate that taste.
Yep.
So people that pay all that big money in a restaurant, they can go to small towns. The overhead's a bit less.
Mhm.
They can actually get a pretty good home cooked meal
Yep.
for less money in the city, and it's actually a better meal a lot
I
of
was going to say it will taste a lot better, actually. Absolutely.
Yes.
You betcha. Randy, this has been an absolute pleasure for me to speak with you tonight, and I'm really glad you could take the time to out of your busy schedule to sit down with us. So I really appreciate that.
One thing we're going to start, a few guys that I've been talking to, I believe in kind of setting up a site where we go to every town and see what they have, whether it's a gift shop, a
Yep.
restaurant that serves certain things,
Okay.
and making up a place that people can go
Right.
to go through and surf through those things
Okay.
with little clips of the place.
Oh,
Because now,
interesting.
if you want to plan your weekend, you want to go on a road trip,
Yep.
you got to start Googling this and Googling that, and you sometimes miss a lot of them little gift shops or different
Yes.
things you miss because you can't Google that.
Right.
But if we could put it on an information site and have some kind of commercial with it, when people start seeing this media,
Right.
now you put the signs up. I think with the signs and that media kind of thing and a site to go to,
Yep.
people might start, saying, we should run down to Kindersley. You got something going on this weekend. It showed up,
Right.
popped up, whatever. And we should just run out there and check it out. Because people, that corn maze, you seen that corn maze? I forget where that is right now. There was hundreds of people went to that corn maze,
Yeah, it's quite
but
popular.
it was advertised.
Yes, it was.
Well, and it was advertised, and people seen that, they come
Yeah.
out of the city and they went to the corn maze, and they,
Right.
it was something to do.
Something you
So,
can't
I
normally
think
get
you
in the
can
city.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's an outing for people to get out with their kids and their families and get out and mingle in these small towns. And then if you can kind of catch it on, make some friends, and all of a sudden they're going to come out more often, and they're going to stay in the bed and breakfast in the hotels and
Right.
and just stay in that for the weekend. I mean, what's better place to go when it's turmoil in the city is going to a small town.
Exactly.
Maybe snowball fights, who knows, but
We'll find something for you to do. No problem.
yeah, well, and there is, if you have
Yes.
a dog, if you have an information site where there's stuff
Yep.
going on,
Yep.
and start running that every week.
Yep.
Where this week is that, and then over at Rosetown's got that. I know we got to
Yep.
support everybody. Everybody has to kind of come together and
Yep.
support Kindersley. Rosetown supports Kindersley. Kindersley supports Rosetown.
Yep.
Rosetown and Kindersley support North Battleford.
Right. Yep.
And try and get that kind of a generation where we're starting to help each other out and not just one for one. It's one for all, I guess.
Well, a grassroots movement has to start somewhere. I think that's an awesome idea, actually. And I'll have to talk to my technical guy here later once we're off the air about the idea. I kind of like that. So I'm going to bring it up with our Chamber of Commerce as well when we meet again next month. I think it's a great idea.
Well, because if you have a site there, and I go back to Alberta all the time, if there was some place there that I knew was a good gift shop without driving into town and looking and all that kind of thing,
Right.
it would, and then I see the sign,
Right.
I'm sure that I don't think I could make it through Kindersley without going to check it out.
Right.
Just because I'm going through anyways, why
Yep.
not stop at the place? So
Yep. Well, why
even
not?
if you send me some stuff now, I got a guy in Asquith that's got Bigfoot vodka. We're going to do a commercial for him because they're
Okay.
old guys that got into the vodka business
Yeah.
in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
That wasn't a good thing. Too much competition. I think there's 9 new vodka distilleries in
wow.
Saskatchewan.
Oh my.
So there's
Okay.
another thing. You can actually go to different ones and taste test their vodkas. I mean, go out to
Wow.
Asquith, and that lady at Herschel there.
Okay.
I've seen a little clip. This filming company has a budget on Tourism Saskatchewan.
Okay. Yes.
They're doing little clips to advertise different places. And that lady at
Oh.
Herschel's got that bed and breakfast. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know where it is.
Not offhand. I haven't been there. No. I have an idea where it is,
See-
but I haven't been there myself.
Have you ever seen any of the ads for it or commercials?
I
or
can't
anything?
say that I have. No, I actually haven't.
And
I don't know.
That's what I mean by that information site. There's a place right at Herschel. It looks really nice. A nice lady.
Okay.
Looks like a nice place. It's right at Herschel.
Okay.
And we don't know. I've been by there hundreds of times and I've never thought of it. So now in a snowstorm, I might just pull into that bed and breakfast, because I got stalled in Kindersley a few times over the snowstorm. That you're like running the gauntlet going from Kindersley to Hannah sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I'll have to take a look at that B&B as well. It's interesting. Wow. I still think it's an awesome idea.
Well, there's so many of that stuff around, we don't even notice it. I mean, we got Steen in a big fancy steak pit by Priestville. There's so many different things. We just have to get people to come out and check them all out and keep doing it. Once they find a place they like, I think they'll tell their friends. Their friends will come out without even the advertising part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just word of mouth. That's how I built my outfitting.
Yeah, word of mouth is always the best advertising for sure. Absolutely.
Right.
Cool. Wow, I'm going to have to sign us off, unfortunately.
Okay.
But it's been awesome talking to you, Randy. I really appreciate your time tonight. And I'm going to keep up with you, and maybe we can work something out with this idea of yours. You never know. Anything's possible.
Well, like I say, we get them signs up, and I'm going to stop in at Kindersley next time I come through there, and I'm going to go buy something, and then I'm going to send you what I bought.
All right. I'll hold you to that.
Wow. I'll send you a picture.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
You don't know my Christmas list yet. We'll give it a little more time.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks again, Randy. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Ron, and this is
Kevin.
Yeah, and this is the Ron Kevin Show.
It is.
We're looking forward today to just electrifying you with all sorts of things. I can feel the spark already.
I have a battery of questions to ask you.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So what were you going to ask me about?
I was going to ask you about electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Funny how we kind of segued into that.
Wasn't that great? Just this very smooth.
Very good
smooth.
acceleration of that one.
Yeah, no question about it.
What's your view on electric cars?
My original view on electric cars is I live in Saskatchewan at 40 below. I have walked outside and tried to start a car with a battery that's in good shape at 40 below, and it's very, very hard.
Yep.
So that has been. I'm not sure I have had a final answer on how we deal with that kind of problems.
Right. For the summertime, I think they're okay. But for the winter, you're right. I can't see batteries lasting that long in our cold.
Yeah.
Bitter cold.
Yeah. Maybe everybody has to. Maybe we all build garages, and we heat the garages with our gas in order to keep the electric car going.
Or we can just put more coal in the fire and run that coal.
What a thought!
I tell you,
we're definitely. By the way, environmentalists, there's a little bit of facetiousness going on here, just so you catch that.
A little bit.
Yes,
a little bit, yeah. Not much, just a little.
Oh, okay. Speak for yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But the other thing about electrical, do we call them electric or electrical? Oh my goodness, electric vehicles, EVs.
Yes.
Is the travel distance. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I know one of the companies has a truck out. I believe it's Ford, has an electric truck.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're able to pull the weight of a camper or anything behind it like you would a gas or diesel truck.
Yeah.
What you'd want to use it for then, I don't know, and I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'm sure they're gearing up, and that's part of it too, is getting the right gearing in a vehicle like that. And how do you do that?
I don't know.
But then the other question is, as batteries go, when you first heard about electric, you stick them in the trunk or whatever, and now you need more battery, and pretty soon the battery's just going to surround you, and
your whole car is a battery.
Yeah,
and the weight of it, they're not cheap, and they're not light.
That and this is part of my thing right now too, is I don't know enough, and what I do know generally comes out of echo chambers.
Okay.
There's this side that says it's all bad, and then there's this side that's all good, and then there's and I haven't sort of got that in between that gathers all of that information together and lets me know what. And right now I can't afford to buy one.
So what you're saying is you have homework to do then?
I have homework to do. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I don't plan to be buying an electric vehicle.
Why not?
No.
Okay.
Not for the winters. It's got to really.
I don't think
it's got to be proven that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Properly.
Yeah.
So for now, I'll stick with the gas.
But didn't you like these, like my kids and grandkids, and when they get on their electric little car,
Right.
and they drive around, and it's so much fun. Why wouldn't you want an electric car like that?
People don't hear you coming down the street.
Okay,
So
but
those ones that are walking around, texting or listening on their earphones, they can't hear you anyway.
yeah, that's true.
So more
But
accidents.
you could just turn your stereo up. Okay, stereo, that's an old
Oh,
one.
you're
You could
dating
yeah.
yourself on
I
that.
know. Do you know that you can buy trucks now that have more expensive stereos than the truck itself?
I think I
Somebody
own
gives it
one,
to you.
unfortunately.
So
Yeah, there you go.
and that's part of it. That's the electric vehicle right there in the truck. Yeah.
Well, they can have it for now.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
But
so
we'll see.
5 years from now, when we're chatting again, I'll ask you again.
Yeah, I'll see you in
We'll see
5
where
years.
you go.
I'll text you in 5 years.
Okay, that sounds good.
If
I
you-
won't have an electric vehicle
Okay.
because I can't afford it. That's the other big question. How can you
Affordability.
afford an electric vehicle?
But you see, you've said the 4 magic letters in there, F-O-R-D. Ford. Uh-huh. Yeah.
We're not going to shove that.
I'm dodging that question. But
Oh,
anyway.
good. Okay. Thank you. This has been so good.
Yes. Do you like the EVs? Again, let us know.
Hi everyone, be sure to grab a free copy of our bi-weekly print issue in over 50 locations across Kinnersley. Also included in our magazine is the free Kinnersley Social Extra, where we publish things like community events for nonprofits and obituaries for free. If you would like to be featured in our magazine or have something advertised, please email hello@kinnersleysocial.ca.